Welcome to the first edition of Bowie's newest cable TV show called On the Books. We're not accountants, we're authors and commenters, and we're here to talk about books written in and about Bowie, Maryland. Most of our authors are fiction writers, and I myself dabble in fiction, but I am here today with Ms. Penny Peterson, who is the first author here, talking to us about her work.
Hi. I'm Penny Clover Peterson. I've lived in Bowie since 1980, and I've, in my retirement, taken up writing cozy mysteries, and that's what we're here to talk about.
Outstanding, and it's really interesting because I've always been impressed with the kind of artistic talent that we have right here in Bowie. I think it must be something in the well water.
It could be, although I'm on, regular city water, so.
Okay.
I have noticed. I am a member of the Pen in Hand, the Bowie Library's writing group, and we have some very fine writers there. There's a lot of talent in this area.
And actually, I'm also a member of the Mitchellville Writers Group, which meets at the whatchamajigger, the Wegmans Cafe at Woodmore. We have a very lively and viable group. I'm also a member of a new group. We simply call it the Moni Group, and we meet over at Moni's right next or down the street a little bit from Pablo and Pepe's, and it's really pure Bowie. So now you say you write cozy mysteries,
Yes.
Penny. May I call you Penny?
Yes, you sure may.
Okay, so you write cozy mysteries.
Yeah.
Explain to us what a cozy mystery is.
A cozy mystery, we'll start with Agatha Christie, I think is when the term was coined, referring to her work. A cozy mystery is a mystery without any graphic violence and no graphic sex. There is a lot of, that can be sinister, it can be thrillers or thrilling, it can be really scary, they can be funny, but they leave out the gore and the graphic sex. And that is what...
So like the old Murder, She Wrote.
Yes, that would be a perfect example of a cozy mystery.
And now you have lived in Bowie for how long?
Since 1980.
Okay, you even predate me a little bit. No, I came to Bowie in 1984.
Yeah. I'm basically from this area, grew up downtown Washington, right off DuPont Circle, and moved to College Park, got married, moved to Hollywood College Park, and then out to Bowie. So I have not traveled far.
Well, good. I actually was born in Buffalo, New York.
Yeah.
And I've been in Bowie since 1984, as I said. Now, your cozy mysteries. Mm-hmm. You've written two.
Yes.
Roses and Daisies and Death Oh My,
yes.
which was the first.
Yes.
Which was published in 2013. And then we have Roses Are Dead, My Love,
yes.
which was published in 2015.
Right.
Now, in my writing groups, many of the authors are self-publishers. Were your books self-published?
Yes. When I wrote my first book, I started writing actually on a dare from my husband. I love mysteries. It's my go-to genre for relaxation, just to sit back when I don't want to think much and just have a good time with a book. There are a lot of bad ones out there. There are a lot of good ones, but there are also a good number of really poor books. So I was reading one, I said, this is just awful. I could do better than this. And my husband said, well, you go ahead and you go ahead and write one. We had both retired, and I had time, and I thought, well, I will give it a shot. So I started writing really as a hobby to kind of fill in the day. And it started turning into a book that I would enjoy reading. And so I actually took almost 3 years from the inspiration when I thought of what I wanted to do to get it finished. And I did self-publish as an ebook for about a year. And then I met Denise and Austin Camacho from Intrigue Publishing, and they said, well, why don't you submit it to us? And so in 2013, they picked it up and published it as an ebook, but also as a paperback. Which was,
So where is Intrigue Publishing located?
it's Upper Marlboro. It's,
Okay.
Yeah, it's a small press. They've got, I think, about maybe 12 or 15 authors now, and they're good people to work with.
Now, did you find that the book changed when it went from a self-published book to a formal publishing house book?
It did, in that I did not hire an editor, and I would advise anybody who writes and wants to self-publish, invest in an editor.
Okay, just a little interruption here. If you're interested in self-publishing, we have coming up later in our season 2 of the most knowledgeable people that I know about self-publishing, and there will be a whole show on it. So I hope that you'll
that's great.
tune in and
Yeah.
come back to Jim Brown and Rashida Childress. They have a whole,
I know Rashida.
you know Rashida.
She's at the Bowie Pen and Hand group.
Right, okay, yes.
Yeah.
She's also in our Mitchellville Writers Group, and so is Jim. We're all Eastern Shore writers, too. But speaking of groups, the one that I was really interested in, especially since you write cozy
Right.
mysteries, as you said, I really like that, cozy mysteries. Yeah, it's petting a cat in front of the...
Well, that's it exactly. There's no angst. No, they're just fun reads. And,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, actually, I don't think he'd be considered a cozy mystery writer, but Daniel Silva, I don't know if you know him.
I have, and there's a debate about where a cozy crosses the line. Language is a big part of the debate because, of course, Agatha Christie being the original cozy writer that we look at, no one used language at that time. You did not find language, 4-letter words in
The
books.
7 words.
The 7
you
words,
can't use
right.
on TV.
You didn't find them, so there was no definition in that regard of what you would leave out of a cozy. So in the cozy mystery field, there's kind of an ongoing questioning of exactly who you would lump into a cozy and who you might just call a traditional mystery writer.
Okay. And now your books are set in the city of?
They are set in the fictional city of Bostwick, Old Town Bostwick, which is based on Old Town Bowie.
Okay, so Bostwick, Maryland exists in your mind.
Yes,
You created it.
yes.
And Bowie provided you with...
The structure, yeah. I didn't want to use real places that I was going to, that would be the main part of the book. I didn't want to, God forbid, upset anybody or have anybody feel like they were the person I was talking about. So I decided to make it fictional, but I love old Bowie, and it just is a nice setting.
Tell us a little bit about the 2 women who populate the books.
Daisy and Rose Forrest are sisters. They have come to a time in each of their lives. Daisy just recently divorced. Rose needed a change from what she was doing. They actually inherited a small amount of money and were able to buy and open a small gift shop in Old Town Bostwick. They live upstairs, and they are based pretty much on me and my sister, personality-wise. My sisters and I are incorporated into those characters. The other character that I love best is Angela, their mother, Angela Forrest.
Yes, she was very interesting.
Yes, she is. She's a very fun lady, and she is based on three wonderful women: my mother, my mother-in-law, and my best friend's mother, who combined pretty much became Angela, the perfect hostess, a witty person, a person who was outgoing, loved to dress for the occasion. And so I had a wonderful time writing her.
And what about the woman who runs the post office?
She's strictly my imagination.
Strictly
yes, I did not base her on anybody.
Okay, so
Yeah.
if I go down to the Mitchellville Bowie post office, I won't find this woman
No, actually,
behind
the
the
woman
counter.
at the old Bowie post office is lovely. I have to say, nothing like this, like the lady in the book.
Okay. And one of the other things that interested me, particularly in the second book, Roses Are Dead by Love, it opened up with a little foreword. And it was a young boy getting Mickey Mantle to sign a baseball card at Old Griffith Stadium in 1953.
Right.
Have you been to Griffith Stadium?
No. Now, I've got to say, my love of baseball did not come about until my son started playing baseball. This is such a slap in the face to my husband, who has always played in high school, loves baseball. He's the one who would tell me about going to Griffith Stadium when he was little. He would take the bus down, meet his dad, and they would go to a game at Griffith Stadium. No, I have not been to Griffith Stadium, obviously can't go now. But yeah, my love of baseball didn't start until my son got interested.
So have you been to the new National Stadium?
Yes. Oh, it's beautiful. Yes, I have.
It's a very nice stadium.
Yeah.
I've been a couple of times,
Yeah.
but I have to admit, I'm a soccer fan. And is there much? Bowie's a big soccer town. I didn't notice much soccer going on in Bostic.
No. We're a baseball family. Yeah, my son played for, the Bowie Boys and Girls Club, played baseball and soccer. Loved the baseball, stuck with them, and played baseball through high school and college. So that's the baseball interest.
Okay, well, no, it just was very interesting. The man who runs the baseball shop. Tell us a little bit about him.
He, again, is a figment of my imagination, just kind of a dumb jock, if you want to go there, if I dare say that.
You may get some mail about that, but
not representative of most of the sports people I've played or know who played sports, but for purposes of the book, he's not all that, he's very nice, but not all that bright.
I just like that part of the book because I remember when I was a younger person, I used to collect baseball cards like they were going out of style.
Yeah.
And I could still remember putting a Duke Snider. He was my hero. I was a Dodger fan, not a Yankee fan, because we grew up in Buffalo. A lot of people didn't like New York a lot, but I know there were plenty of people who did. So please don't all write to me at once. But when I think of all the baseball cards that we just ticked away and chewed the bubble gum, and they become valuable.
At some point they do.
Yes.
Yeah. When enough people have thrown them away.
Right, exactly. But the Duke was my hero. And so tell us a little bit about the crime. Let's stick with Roses and Daisies. Or I'm sorry, Roses Are Dead, my love. The latest.
For years, blackmail. I've always thought about, as a writer, I think things go through your head. I mean, you just, you'll see something and think, how would that work? How would that, how? So with blackmail, I've always wondered, the hard part is getting the money, right, and not getting caught. So I had tried, in my little criminal brain, tried to figure out if I were to blackmail someone, how could I do it and not get caught? And I had an idea that somehow you could do it through the mail. If you had a mailbox that had then got forwarded, you could probably in some way figure this out. So that kind of was the germ for Roses Are Dead. So we have some people in Old Town being blackmailed. Daisy and Rose, because the woman who runs the post office has kind of gone off her rocker. She's mail's going everywhere. Nothing's being put in the right place.
Where it's supposed to.
It's not going where it's supposed to. So Daisy and Rose find themselves opening a package of money one day with a note in it that's kind of says, "I have no more. This is it. Do what you want." So clearly, they put their heads together and figured this sounds bad. This is not a good thing, and they realize who wrote the note. So at that point, they decide something's rotten in Old Town.
So they want to solve
They
the
do.
mystery.
They want to figure out what's going on and how they can help.
Now, Bostic, did it have a brand new police department? Not that I'm throwing any stones at the new Bowie Police Department.
Well, I don't know if it's new. The police department in Bostwick it's been there for a long time. I have my young policemen there are two policemen, one from Maryland State who can handle the big crimes, and the younger man who works for the Bostwick Police Department, who keeps Daisy and Rose informed of everything going on in town.
And when you were in the same period of your life as Rose and her sister happened to be, were you as inquisitive as they were to what was going around?
No. I based those Daisy and Rose on a lot of the silliness of our family. But no, I have never wanted to investigate a crime. I've never been very nosy. I'm very shy. I'm actually a very shy person. It would never dawn on me to go ask questions to somebody I didn't know, or just kind of butt my nose in and say, "Oh, we got to find out who did this." I mean, if I found money in the mail, I would turn it into the police and say, "Here."
Right. Well, not to spoil the story, so it's a blackmail story. They're always fun. Is that a common theme in cozy fiction or cozy mysteries?
Poison pen letters are a very common theme. Blackmail.
Not everyone's familiar. What do you mean by a poison pen letter?
Oh, where people in the town get anonymous letters with either threats or warnings that a secret might be told. I saw you with so-and-so, and the threat is there, and unsigned. So.
Okay.
But that features a lot in cozy mysteries.
Now, so you're talking about cozy mysteries. Did you consider traditional hard-boiled detective fiction?
I did. I was not a writer. I had never really thought I would sit down and write these books. But you always, when you read books, I used to play with, if I were to write a book. And I really liked mysteries. I thought, if I were going to write a mystery, what would I write about? And I had an uncle who was a White House photographer during Truman's term. And he was.
I guess he could stand the heat in the kitchen.
I guess he could. I think he did. He was a big man, a handsome man, and there was a lovely picture of him sitting at a desk with his feet up and the fedora pushed back on it, and just looked like the perfect detective. And I thought, wow, that would be fun. A White House photographer, finds a crime, has to solve it. And as I was thinking about it, I realized I knew nothing about photography. I certainly knew nothing about being a professional photographer. So when I decided to write these, I thought, write what you know. And I figured I knew cozy mysteries from having read them from the time I was 10.
Did you read Nancy Drew?
I only read one Nancy Drew. My mother was not a big fan of Nancy Drew. She thought I should just move right to the hard stuff. I had Agatha Christie and Dorothy Sayers.
Okay. And what about who were the two boy detectives?
The Hardy Boys.
The Hardy Boys.
No, Mom kind of guided my mystery reading, so I read what she read. So when I decided to write it, I sat down and said, well, what do I know? And I know family. Mm-hmm. I know I've got 4 sisters and a sister-in-law. We're all extremely close, so I know sisters. I know goofy mothers. I know animals that have wandered into my life throughout the years, and I love antiques. I know Bowie, so that's where I went.
That sounds great, because some writer friends and we continually go round and round about, can you write about something you don't know? I remember when I was in college, at one point I decided, maybe I want to be a writer. So I took some creative writing courses, and I thought I'd written this brilliant story because I got interested in fracking, or young soldiers shooting their officers. And so I thought I'd write and I just came to class thinking, oh man, I'm just, the next bestseller. The professor's name was Bernard Frank. I'll never forget him. He made it very clear to me I knew nothing about being a soldier in Vietnam and about killing anybody. And so he traded my writing into the idea of you have to write from your experience.
And I think you do.
Not exactly, not a mirror of you.
Right. I mean, you obviously can write about things you haven't done, but you have to have, I think the core has to be there, that you have to be familiar enough with and comfortable enough with the basic premise of your book. Otherwise, you're going to have a book that doesn't sound like it means anything. I mean, it's not going to make sense.
Okay, I agree with you 100%. Now we're closing in. The last thing, what's your process? Do you have one?
I have a very bad process. I like to say I'm a very bad writer in terms of actually getting it written.
This bad writer, by the way, has 2 published books. But go ahead.
No, the outcome's not bad, but my process is not great. I am not a very, I don't schedule well. I start the book, I get the idea, I know what I want to write, I have notes everywhere in the room, and I don't outline until I've got about 20,000 words in. And then I do a broad outline, and then I outline each chapter after I've written it. With mysteries, obviously, you have to keep track of who did what when.
Right.
And if you want to put clues in, and I do put clues in my books, I hate the mystery books where they don't have any clues. So I make sure I outline afterward. About halfway through the book, I do an actual chapter by chapter outline of what I want to do with the end of it.
Okay, so when you wrote these books, when you were first couple of chapters, did you know how they were ending?
I did. Okay. That's the only thing I knew. I knew who did it and why they did it, and what got done, who did it and why they did it. But
do you think you could write a mystery without knowing the ending? Or would it become something else?
I I don't think I could. Well, for one thing, you do have to put clues in, or I like to put clues in. If you are unsure of who did it, you, I don't think I could do it. I think I would have to know.
And now you have another book in process.
I do.
And you're expecting it to finish?
I am promising myself by May 1st I will have the first draft.
And would it
done.
be fair to say there'll be a trilogy?
It will. It's
so we're going to meet these
ladies.
very nice young ladies.
Yes, you will. I think it's pushing up daisies. And
Excuse me.
yeah, they are hot on the trail of a ghost at a historic mansion.
Okay. Gee, I wonder where that is in Bowie. But anyway, let's thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, it was such a
fun.
pleasure. And to learn about Cozy Mysteries and about writers in Bowie. And hopefully I meant to talk a little bit more about Sisters in Crime. But maybe we could do that when we bring you back for Pushing Up Daisies.
I would love to come back, and I hope this.
And if you want flowers, being a little Italian kid at heart, basically, you might want to do something with gardenias. I love gardenias. I wanted to wear one at my son's wedding, but it wasn't in the cards.
Oh.
But that's okay. They're not in season.
No, but they smell so wonderful.
Oh, don't they? Don't they ever?
They do.
A whole lot better than wisteria. But thank you very much.
Well, thank you for having me.
And I hope that we'll be able to have you back again. And to all of you out there, I hope you continue to come and watch On the Books with your host, Norm Buffneck Constantine. And we'll have a new author, a new idea in every show from here to, I hope, a long, long time. I intend to do this well into my 80s. Anyway, thanks again, and that's a wrap.